Scholars have defined poverty in three different ways: poverty as culture, poverty as robbery, and poverty as a void. Today we're going to be discussing that definition of poverty as a void. Now, a void can be defined as a lack or being without something necessary. Often, when talking about poverty, the government is also grouped into that because the government plays a big part in the solutions to poverty as a lack or a void. And they can provide solutions by increasing opportunities for people experiencing this type of poverty, filling that void with material goods, which often comes from government programs such as welfare or food stamps. Eduardo Porter wrote an article in the New York Times about recent poverty in the U.S., and he said, "Actual experience from the richest country in the world to some of the poorest places on the planet suggests that cash assistance can be an enormous help for the poor and freeing them from what President Ronald Reagan memorably termed the spider's web of dependency, also known as forcing the poor to sink or swim. It is not the cure-all for social ills," its supporters claim. So in this quote, he's basically saying that cash assistance to the poor is very valuable in lifting these people out of poverty. And that, going back to the definition as poverty as a lack or being without, and the solution by providing material goods to these people, goes in hand with this idea of poverty as a void. This image can be used to illustrate this idea of poverty as a lack. In this picture you see three little boys' feet, very dirty, but I think the most stark contrast is the little boy in the middle that doesn't have any shoes. And this kind of conveys the idea that he's so poor that he can't even afford basic needs, basic clothing. He doesn't have the funds or the resources necessary to fulfill those basic needs. So he's lacking something that's very important to get himself out of poverty. So is poverty as a void a valid definition? Does it explain the root causes of poverty and just how it starts? I believe it is. The Borgen Project, which is it's a nonprofit that researches and addresses poverty and hunger, made a list of the top 5 reasons for poverty around the world, which are history, war and political instability, national debt, discrimination and social inequality, and vulnerability to natural disasters. And if you just take a look at all of them, all of these are strong impactors of the economy and reasons for why people may not be able to have the resources that they need to stay out of poverty. War and political instability, it causes a lot of economic instability. Also national debt, it decreases or increases unemployment, and those are all reasons why poverty is a major part of poverty is a void or a lack of the economic resources necessary to stay out of poverty.